So what? I'm gay. It don't matter. God ain't made you no better than me. When I pray, He still answers. Maybe you need to get on your knees.
With this bullshit.
Welcome to the Real Drunk Show.
Yes.
Here you go with this.
Episode is gay problems. Let's get started with these
You should have warned us.
introductions.
You should have warned us.
Wait, what, AJ?
I said you should have warned us. Okay.
Did y'all not like my introduction?
Well, shit, I didn't know it was going to be a damn singing intro. Now, wait a minute now. We should have prepared our spirits for that.
I'm Kia. I'm coming from Georgia. Next up, AJ, go.
I'm AJ, a.k.a. Crayola, coming from Atlanta, Georgia. Am I supposed to say something else?
What are you drinking?
Oh, I got to pick up this.
Hold on, AJ. Your sound is doing something funny. Is it just my end, or is it funny to y'all too?
It's everybody. It's trash.
AJ.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I made some peach brandy
Ooh.
Nice.
Fancy.
with Coca-Cola, really good.
Unplug your earphones, AJ. See if it gets better.
While he's doing that, I'm Angie, coming from Detroit, and tonight I'm drinking an oldie but goodie, Southern Comfort, because I kind of was feeling homesick, missing the South this week. So, Southern Comfort. Nicole, what you got?
What's up? I'm Nikki O. I'm currently in my bed in Georgia. And sadly, I'm drinking the Dasani water tonight.
Dio, why did you laugh like that?
I'm sorry, because I just knew she was going to say, like, some sort of trash-ass alcohol like Barefoot. But she came out with water, and I wasn't ready for that. Anyway, I'm already speaking. So, I'm Giovanni. I'm coming from New York, fucking Dominican Heights, where the sancocho never stops being cooked. And I'm drinking Cabernet Sauvignon tonight.
Fancy.
Fancy.
Because I also bought 2 bottles because I'm trash. So.
Okay, your goal is by the end of the show, both of those bottles should be empty.
Okay, you know what? You already tried to make me drink Hennessy before today, and now you're trying to make me drink 2 bottles of wine. You're not ruining my life. I told you that already.
Coming off of my grand intro, shout out to Jamal from Fire. I forgot to introduce my drink. Margarita, 1800 tequila. It's a wonderful thing. So, let's rewind a couple of weeks. When Jamal sung that at the rap battle, what was y'all's reaction?
This is some bullshit.
I was like, we do R&B at rap battles now?
Right.
What was your thoughts when you heard me sing it tonight?
This is some bullshit.
Basically, it was the same thing. Basically, it was the same thing. Why is it happening? When is it gonna stop?
I didn't even do the whole thing. I just went, you know.
But that's the crazy thing. Like, she didn't stop at the beginning. Like, she could have stopped at the end of the first line, and we would have known that she was.
I'm gave her
But
just
she
stop like that.
didn't sing the entire verse.
And she didn't even sing the best verse.
I don't know what key she was singing. Like, it was just a free for all. Like, what?
That was a Rashida. That was a Rashida verse right there, Biz. He was pulling a Rashida.
It was in the key of bitch, you tried it.
Okay, speaking of Trident, last Sweet Pwussy Saturday, Sweet Pwussy Saturday has become a staple in the Black community. Founded by the urban great legend, Plies, you know, that's where we celebrate sexuality. Sweet Pwussy Saturday started off interesting last week, to say the least, right, Ange?
It sure did.
Plies was in a Tallahassee nightclub, and this happened. Maybe we'll have video. Maybe not.
In a few seconds, we sure will. Plies. Here we go.
Hey, bro.
Color money.
We too close to be too close. But that's cool.
So
This whole security team should be fired.
that was it.
Plies got WWF slammed into the arm.
Listen. That young man who resembles an anorexic Coolio flung Plies over his shoulder like 22 inches of yaki, and I can't deal, and neither can you. Plies' little ass is about knee-high to a toddler, and he got thrown over a shoulder like salt. I'm here for it. Why not?
Why are you here for it?
Because Plies, while I appreciate Plies' coonery, I feel like he's one of the people that walks through life entirely too confident and needs to be knocked off his high horse and or high pony for his high stature. And that incident had to have rocked his world. So I'm glad that he got a blow to the ego.
My question is, where the fuck was security? Why this entire exchange? Like, I need security to start killing folks. Like, I don't need people, regular ass people, to be able to get up in my face. And I damn sure don't need them to be able to fucking body slam me to the ground. Where is security?
Was actually standing right beside Plies.
Right beside him, waiting for the
His DJ screamed out his safe word like 2 times before he got grabbed. Did you hear Color Money?
But was Color Money Plies, or was that...
Color Money was somebody else entirely. I don't know who that was.
The first 2 times, I think it was his DJ saying it over the mic, saying Color Money over the mic. The third time, as he was flying up in the air, I believe it was Plies who was saying it.
It was too late by the time he got up in the air, though. So,
but clearly, security didn't react the first 2 times the DJ said it. So,
Plies got to take the security, whoever that dude was, his security that night. Plies got to get dude's mama, his wife, his kids, his grandma, line them all up, and he just got to be able to slap the shit out of all of them in front of security. Like, that's the only way that we can make this right.
But you know what? This is a perfect example of why you don't hire your friends. Because had Plies had actual security guards, that never would have happened. He hired them niggas from down the street, and that's why his ass got slung like that.
AJ, advice for Plies?
Why is Plies even a thing?
We can't.
I don't understand.
AJ, what you're gonna have to do is fix your audio first.
Okay, let's try the headphones again. Maybe the headphones.
No, but you know what? You know what I loved about this whole situation?
What?
After this went down, so everybody started watching the video. When was that? Like late
Saturday morning.
Friday night, early Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Plies ain't say shit about it. But
Nothing.
Saturday afternoon, I bet you that nigga posted one of his Instagram videos, and I bet you I watched the fuck out of it. Because he is like, he does not care. He's like, yes, I got body slammed at my concert, but you know what? I'm still going to talk about these bids.
But you know what? The funniest thing is, even in the video that you just played, at a certain point, while his security guards are whooping the dog shit out of that man, he is on stage performing.
He is unbothered. He is completely unbothered. I love that. I've never purchased the Plies album.
Ever. And I won't.
Don't ask me about his music, but if that nigga ever goes on HBO and gets him a comedy special, or he's playing the Fox Theater for some comedy shit, bet you I'm gonna buy a ticket because that nigga makes me laugh.
Absolutely.
Laugh.
That's funny to me because Cameron today or yesterday told me, Cameron's my kid, y'all. He's 15. He told me he didn't realize Kevin Gates was like a legitimate rapper. He thought he was an Instagram star.
I didn't know that either.
I don't know who that is, so Cameron knows more than I do.
Kevin Gates has a solid single that's being played on radio now.
Oh, wait. I thought we were talking about Plies. Who the fuck is Kevin Gates?
Thank you. That I don't.
Kevin Gates is the rapper with the pretty lips who was sleeping with his cousin.
Oh. All right. I remember that.
That sounds like Omarion.
What? Okay. Angie. Your favorite, your role model, your spirit leader.
Who?
Smiley. Tell us what Tavis Smiley is doing.
Tavis is out here Tavising. I mean, that's all that he can do. He was on Larry King. Thank you. He was on Larry King, and he mentioned, of course, he talked about Empire because that shit is hot. But he mentioned that Empire, I guess, is popular because it showcases all of the worst characteristics of black people. I don't know. That's all I got. I don't.
First of all, myself personally, am not sure why Tavis Smiley is still being asked questions. Second of all, I don't even watch Empire, and I know that everything he said was trash. So my real question is, who invited him on Larry King to begin with? Did they run out of guests? Like, of all people, Tavis Smiley is the fucking number 26 on the guest list of what nigga can we invite on the show to ask about Empire to say some dumb shit.
AJ, your thoughts? Look, AJ has no thoughts. Well, Tavis Smiley is the only one who has thoughts about Empire. Our favorite Scandal alum, Columbus Short, has been so inspired by Empire that he wants to start a gospel version. Raise your hand if you're going to watch the gospel version of Empire.
I will if there's a gay.
I'm going to watch it because it's going to be a fucking train wreck. So...
Columbus Short has no business being anywhere near anything Jesus related.
And who did did he say he had with him? Kim Burrell?
Timberell.
Yes.
And, was it Ryan Glover? Who's?
Uh-huh.
I just think Jesus said, I have DirecTV and not Comcast, and balance isn't a part of my life, so I don't have to suffer through this tragedy.
Like, what does that even mean? A gospel-themed empire. So, like, what, you're gonna have fucking Kim Burrell sing all the interludes and shit? Like, I don't even understand what the theme means in general, but for this to be in the works, I'm upset. And I'm not even Christian, and I'm upset.
But what about the African Idol?
Yeah. So that was the most shocking part of it. Like, who the fuck hired you to be the talent on a talent competition? Like, shouldn't you have talent yourself before you can host or judge?
You know, Columbus Short used to be a backup dancer for Britney Spears in her heyday when she was on top of the world. You can't be a backup dancer for Britney Spears and not be talented, Angela.
But he's saying that he's bridging his music and his acting career. When did he ever have a music career to begin with?
Did he have? I want to say he had.
Well, shit, do you have a significant
He
acting
had a song or a mix. I listened to Columbus Short, listening to anything dealing with Columbus Short when he started beating his wife.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, thank you. I barely like Columbus Short to begin with. After fucking, what is it, stomp the yard and his blockhead ass. Then he wanted to start beating his wife and choking niggas, and I'm like, okay, so what is the point?
yeah. He's definitely one of those actors. Oh, go ahead, AJ.
He's just trying to make a comeback.
He is trying to make a comeback, but I just don't see it for him. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe his downfall was Cadillac Records.
Maybe the what?
Maybe his downfall was Cadillac Records. Playing Muddy Waters.
Cadillac Records? Who was he in Cadillac Records?
Muddy Waters.
He sure was. You are right.
I see what he's trying to do. When you make a comeback from something really bad and like heavy, you want to align yourself with something that is supposed to be righteous. So he's making something gospel. The problem is, people barely gave a fuck about Columbus Short to begin with. So the fact that he's producing something that is so on the outskirts of television, such as a gospel version of Empire, this is a fail on all levels to be considered. What's the point?
Wait,
Disagree there.
before we go on, Javier A. Brown said, hell, I thought that about Kevin Gates too. So apparently no one but me knows Kevin Gates. Y'all know he was on the cover of Double XL's freshman class edition or whatnot?
Nobody reads Double XLQ.
Me either, but I see their tweets.
I didn't know they had a Twitter. I don't know.
That either. You're like highly overestimating how much I'm involved in nigger shit.
Speaking of productions, Nate Parker is producing a movie based on Nat Turner. Are y'all familiar with Nat Turner?
I actually, yeah. Not from school, but yeah.
Not from school. Yes, because schools don't teach about people like Nat Turner.
Okay.
No.
I actually learned about Nat Turner in school.
Oh, tell us what you learned, Dia.
Well, it was a very surface value. Basically, based upon his inciting of the slave rebellion and everything like that. But I can't say that I never heard of him outside of school, because I did. As far as this movie is concerned, I have reservations just because I feel like, why? But
you don't think it's a story that needs to be told?
No, because even in the article that we were reading, there was a line in it that was saying something to the effect of, we're all waiting for a Nat Turner movie to be made and not just a Nat Turner biopic. And my first thought was, are we? Because of all the movies that I could wish to be made, Nat Turner is not in my consideration. Yes, it's a great narrative, but for what the fuck does there need to be a movie?
I think it will be a good image to show of slaves other than them being passive, yes, I'm master. Let me go along and do what I need to do to survive. Nat Turner was a rebel. He was like, I'm sick of y'all bullshit. And he went around and he killed some white folks. And we don't
I'm here
know the
for it.
story.
I'm here for it.
Me
Here for it. I'm actually here for it too.
Listen,
I think the timing is good, but like Dio said, of all of the figures that they could have chosen, I'm surprised that it's Nat Turner. But at the same time, I'm excited. I think that's a different kind of narrative, and I think that's some shit that black folks will go to AMC and pay their damn $50 and go see.
I mean, I'm not against it. My real concerns on it are that Nat Turner's story is so, it's not one note, but it just has a very one level thing. Yes, he had a slave rebellion and everything, but his character, based upon what I know and the things that I've read, is not very. I'm afraid that they're going to make him very one-dimensional character, and it's just going to be about black violence, not, ooh, we're talking about, slaves rebelling against the power structure of their time. There are many other multi-layered black historical figures that you can make a movie about. Nat Turner, I feel like, is in a very exciting story, but it's not one that's going to give you layers to a character that's going to be exciting.
It's
I
interesting.
think we just have to wait and see.
Say that again, AJ.
So I think we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Like, we can assume all we can, but who's to say that what we assume is going to be right?
Yeah, one thing that did come to mind with me is I don't know that much about Nat Turner. I know him as a one-dimensional character, so I wonder how much history has written of his story so that we can see those multi-dimensional, or if it will just be presented as the man who started the rebellion.
Right.
But you know what? Even if it is,
Uh-huh.
what's wrong with him just being an angry ass black man? Like I wouldn't even be mad at that. Like, so what? You just angry and you want to kill some white folks, and you know what? I'm gonna pay my $59.99 to see you kill some white folks. Oh well. That's
$9.99.
bottom line.
Is this part of your anger with our present socio-political?
Indeed, it is.
So let's
Indeed.
get it picked up. It's a black man who's written the script, directing the play, and directing the movie and playing the lead role.
AJ, I don't know what happened to your audio because it wasn't like that before the show. Say it again.
Might need to get some index cards.
Dead ass.
Somebody.
AJ got about one more time to say something choppy, and I'm just going to ignore him.
AJ,
It's weird because I heard what he said, so maybe it's the
A lot of y'all been choppy anyway.
That's the
I
problem.
know y'all have.
AJ, do this though real quick. Log off and log back on and see if it gets better. Because it wasn't like this before the show.
You got
I
to
know
do the new version.
When he logs off, block him.
We're not gonna block you, AJ.
Jason said, why, regarding the Nat Turner movie, he said, why? To scare the hell out of white folks that are still killing black folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly why we're gonna make the movie.
But
They
you
need
know,
to be scared.
that's their biggest fear. That we will behave as they have behaved
Uh-huh.
as retribution, which is part of the whole white supremacist thing. We have to keep them down so they won't treat us like we have treated them.
Uh-huh.
JVRA Brown said, "Gotta read the Confessions of Nat Turner." So that is what I will be ordering from Amazon this week. Are y'all gonna read it with me?
I'm gonna see if I can download it for free. I don't pay for books.
Are you familiar with I forgot the name of it. There are some Netflix Netflix equivalent to with books where you can, it's like a library where you can read all these books.
But y'all, I gotta leave for a second.
Where you going? Oh hell.
Gosh. Okay. Anyway, well, Anne's leaving and I was finna tell her to show a video. Anyway, since we're talking about races and shit,
Yeah.
we might as well go ahead and talk about Walter Scott.
Oh God.
Walter Scott was a black man in South Carolina, 50 years old, pulled over for a broken taillight by Officer Slager. What is his first name? Michael?
I believe so.
William, wasn't it William?
I don't know. It's Slager, something Slager. Anyway, the video that was secretly taken by a observer, a citizen, show Walter Scott getting shot in the back. 8 times the officer shot at him. And he proceeded to plant the taser by him and concoct a story that was completely different from what video showed. What was y'all's initial reaction when you saw the video?
I guess I'll go first. It's sad to say, but due to the current climate that we're in racially in the country, the death is not what hit me. I was prepared to see him die. What I was not prepared to see them do was handcuff that dead-ass body. And like, to see the deceit happen before my eyes was really what struck me. That was really the worst part. To see the lie happen.
Yeah. And to that same point, what got me was he fired off the shots, and then he sort of looked around, and I was like, oh, okay, you on some bullshit. And that was the point I was just like, all right, is he gonna shoot the cameraman or the camerawoman? Like, what's next?
AJ? AJ ain't even.
Now you're completely mute, so.
Nicole.
I'll go next.
Oh shit.
I don't know. It's just it's depressing as hell to watch that, because even when you go to war, your intentions aren't to kill people, So to see this happening in our own country, just purposely killing people, black people, officers, people that's supposed to protect us, it's just, I don't know, it's heartbreaking. You expect so much more because of us being Americans, but how are we any better than Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, people that we supposed to be going over there fighting all these wars for?
Right.
And they're not even the issue. We're the issue. I mean, our protectors. These are people that are supposed to be protecting us. And being in the field that I'm in is just so hard to swallow. Like, how can we trust people?
I mean, and I'll also say it struck me on another level, because I just recently found out that the young man who recorded the video is Dominican. I'm also Dominican, so like it adds another layer to the story because Dominicans, no matter how hard they try to deny their past, are just as black as the black Americans that you see walking around in your local towns. And the testimony that he gave was one that was so fearful. The mere fact that he recorded this as a witness to try and say to Walter Scott, you know, I recorded this because I'm here with you and I didn't want you to feel like you were alone, and I documented this because I wanted justice to be served at some point, or at least to make you feel as though you didn't go through this by yourself. It's just, it's like every single time an incident like this happens, if furthermore bolsters the idea that blackness is very equivalent with the idea of togetherness. And if especially right now, if we can't find a way to be together on issues like this, there's no way we can continue to move forward. Because if they're going to continue to keep killing us like fucking flies, especially in the way they're doing it right now, you see the way he just so casually, you know, orchestrated the lie.
And you know what? That's what got me. I always, because I am an optimist to the extreme. Cops coming up with these stories and things, I'm thinking that it is something you do out of fear. You know, like, oh my God, I did this. I regret it. Let me fix it. But to watch that video, you see that there was no regret. There was no fear. It wasn't even second nature to him. It was like, it was instinct. Oh, let me grab my taser and put it beside him so that I can say that he tried to take my taser and justify this shooting. It was so natural. That I think that was the most disturbing thing.
So you have to question how many other times did he do that?
Right.
He
that
just wasn't caught.
First time. That definitely was not his first time.
And to add another layer to the story, was his partner not black that initially pulled over?
Right.
Now, I don't think that was his partner. I think that was his backup who showed up at the scene. But his backup clearly saw him go and drop the taser beside the dead man on the ground.
Right.
His black backup.
Right.
And I saw actually on Twitter today, a little while before we went live, that the National Bar Association, which I believe is the black lawyers group, they have a petition to have the black officer charged. And
absolutely, as an accessory to this fucking farce, like why not?
I mean, he definitely didn't react, or at least you couldn't see in a reaction. Like, if I see my partner drop a taser, like, I'm gonna react like, wait, hold on, nigga, what you doing? Wait, what's going on? Hold on. Like, it was just second nature.
Angie, turn your video back on. And you're right. He did not have any reaction to the scene, to evidence being misplaced or replaced.
Because it's one thing to witness the massacre that took place, to shoot a fleeing man 8 times in the back. It is another thing to witness the lie taking place that you know is going to be national news, dropping the taser, handcuffing the dead body. It's one thing to witness that, and another thing to stay absolutely silent and do nothing to interfere when you've witnessed the entire event from start to finish, and your reaction is one of inaction. And a part of me wants to say perhaps he was so dumbstruck he was frozen. But another part of me wants to say this is not nearly the first time a black man has been gunned down by an officer in the law in the past 6 months alone. You should be able to react at the drop of a dime. You pull up and you see some bullshit happening like that, I'm gonna need for you to open your fucking mouth and say something, not just stand there and watch this shit happen. And the worst part about it is, the both of them motherfuckers didn't know the shit was being recorded.
How? What kind of poppers can't observe your surroundings enough to know that you are being fucking taped as you set up a crime scene?
Dead ass recorded. When you watch the video, you feel like the fucking camera is right there, like NBC is sitting right there with a fucking truck and shit. Like, this shit is so clear. It's not even behind a bush. Like,
That's
there's no
crazy.
fucking coverage, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there were certain parts where you could, like, it looked like maybe a finger was covering the actual camera lens. But it's weird that even when the cop looked around, like, you didn't see somebody standing there. Like, that was weird to me, too.
So what do you think would have happened if the cop did see the guy recording? You think he would have killed him too?
I don't think he necessarily would have just killed the guy. I do think that that cell phone would have been confiscated and that video never would have made the light of day.
Mm.
That's why, honestly, my recommendation to people now is to periscope that shit. Send it straight to the timeline live. Have it saved on Periscope. It will save it to your phone. And just document it from start to finish. Make it live from the beginning so you have other witnesses, because clearly they don't give a damn about our lives or our freedoms.
And it's so sad to me because I'm only 21 years old. I'm turning 22 this year. And the fact that it is a necessity for apps like this to be created where you can document police brutality and injustice as it happens in front of your eyes and to upload it directly to the internet, not because you want to be popular and motherfuckers want to see your internet shit, but because the video is saved immediately so that when justice has to be served, that video is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just shameful to me that that's a necessity. Like, the fact that we can't rely upon people to just be humane is a problem.
You want to get in on this? AJ, can you hear us, AJ?
We need a translator for AJ, man.
Okay, I was going to say, is everyone frozen? Am I here alone? Because all of y'all just got real still and quiet.
I can't hear AJ at all. He needs to learn sign language immediately.
AJ, you're going to have to write on index cards and hold them up for us.
I said that like 3 hours ago.
Did, but
AJ is throwing up gang signs.
look, I'm sorry, AJ. I don't know how to fix it. It really, guys, the funny part is, like, we start our pre-production stuff at 7:30, and AJ was fine up until 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You better log off.
So busy.
Just try next week, sir.
His computer was like, you know what? Fuck this bullshit. I'm out.
What you're not about to do is start throwing up gang
don't know
signs
what
like you just did. We are not in the King Kunta video.
Wait, I think he's back.
AJ?
AJ?
Am I?
You
You
are.
are!
Oh, shit.
Hey!
Praise dance.
Yes! Yes, Molly, do it!
You
I
want to
told
get in on
you.
this combo?
Listen, I told Kia days ago that this could happen.
He did say his sound was funny.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
no,
that's cool because we can just have you on another week, so...
I just want to say that this guy that recorded the video said, I don't know if it was just yesterday or maybe the day before, that he
was told by the cops to wait after he told them that he had the video. And he decided not to wait. And now he takes a different route every day back to work. And he figured he would delete the video. He feared for his life. And now he has some sort of security, which is probably better than, Plies.
Security is better than Plies.
But this guy fears for his life. If you consider the guy that recorded Eric Garner, and
Right.
he was arrested, and he fears eating his food in prison because he thinks that it may be poison. Like that's something very serious. Like I'm pretty much worried about the guy.
Mhm.
You know.
I'm personally not worried, and it's easy for me to say this because I'm not him. But I'm not worried for his safety because at this point, they know that we know who he is.
Mm.
It's easy for them to kill a no-name black man on the street. Once you kill somebody we already know, it's a different story entirely.
Which I think was a little different from the Eric Garner's case because we didn't know, and I think most people still wouldn't recognize the person who filmed Eric Garner being choked to death and murdered on the streets of New York City by NYPD.
Right.
Words matter. That's murder.
Right.
Yeah.
But and speaking of murder, to call into question or to bring up the Time magazine cover, the fact that they have now labeled it as murder is another thing entirely as well.
One thing that I think is hard to see when we are constantly faced with these murders, especially police murders, because at the end of the day, if nothing else, you expect for the police officer, even if they're not going to treat you fairly in the court system, you expect for them not to murder you and then, not be prosecuted for that. But one thing that we are seeing is a little more progress with each case. And with that said, like, how many black people have to die for us to get to the point where this doesn't happen at all? But do you guys see the progress happening with each case? Even if we go back to like Trayvon Martin and how it was different from Mike Brown and how Eric Garner was different from him. Do y'all see that? Any growth and progress?
I don't see it.
Mm.
These folks are still walking free. They still walking the streets. These cops in New York, they still out there walking the streets.
Okay, but Slager is not walking free, and I think we see.
For now.
I think we see a different reaction from the public in general.
That's what I was gonna say. What I see, and obviously it's a little too early to speak on the Slager as far as his prosecution and everything. What I see, I don't necessarily see a difference in how the cases are being handled, and that's partly because I'm not plugged into the cases and the trials and everything. What I do see is a significant change in the public reaction.
Yep.
Because when Michael Brown got shot so close to the time that Trayvon Martin was gunned down, there was a significant change in how people reacted because it was like, oh, so this is not an isolated incident.
Mm-hmm.
This is a recurring factor. And so the fact that we have documented time and time and time and time again how this has happened, I think within the span of, 6 to 9 months, how many people have been gunned down?
Mm-hmm.
What I am seeing now is a mixture of, one, I'm expecting this shit to happen, and two, we already know what y'all motherfuckers is going to do, and we're there to document it. The public reaction to me is the most important part, because if people react to it in a sense of, oh, he was a fucking criminal, kill him, it doesn't matter, that's one thing. But if people are reacting in a sense of, this is the same shit y'all did 3 months ago when y'all killed that other black person, that's another thing entirely, because that forces media and that forces the legislation and the justice system to react in a different way.
Yeah.
Even
And to follow up on that, even the way the public reacts, but even the way the media reacts. I mean, look at the Times cover.
Absolutely.
Black Lives Matter. I mean, you didn't have that for, I mean, we know that the hashtag is relatively new, but you didn't have anything like that when Trayvon Martin was killed, when Mike Brown was killed. It was kind of this kind of lukewarm, like, oh, well, maybe there's some fuck shit going on, but maybe he deserved it kind of thing going on. But now I think media personalities are like, okay, well, this is something, like, there seems to be something unclean in the milk. Like, there's something,
Yeah.
something going on.
And
Well,
what seemed to be the clicking point with me was the Eric Garner grand jury verdict. To see him get choked down in that illegal chokehold on a New York City street and then have the grand jury come back and say, oh no, that was justifiable. I think that kind of opened a lot of people's eyes, especially people who aren't in tune with the black community and who necessarily didn't believe what we've been saying since at least Rodney King. At least.
And I think another important part of the Eric Gardner case was the fact that it happened outside of the South. When you think of racial tension and racial problems, you think of the South immediately. But when you think of New York City, you thinking of entertainment, you thinking of liberation, you thinking of left-wing shit. But for a black man to be killed on the sidewalk where millions of people walk every day, that's another thing entirely. Because what you're saying is this is a nationwide problem. This ain't no Bible Belt shit. This ain't no South shit. This ain't no, ex-Confederate shit. This is cops nationwide are targeting people with black skin, period.
I really hope that we begin to see change quicker because honestly it's exhausting, and when I see the amount of black life that is being lost to this stupidity, it's disgusting. I don't know another word to describe it really. It disgusts me. It's really like, and you think about now there are 4 fatherless kids left. And I think about all like the broken family, the broken people, just how it is a chain reaction. It's disturbing.
And you know what's most disturbing for me is that I'm actually becoming like desensitized to it. I didn't even know about Walter Scott. Like, there was a white coworker who told me about Walter Scott. Like, I didn't even know. She was just like, man, did you hear about this guy from da-da-da? And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And it was like, even my reaction was like, oh, another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even, I don't know, it just seems like something that I just expect. Like, of course, cops are going to kill black men, black women, and black babies. Like, of course this is going to happen. Like, I don't know, it doesn't even...
For me, it's like, because, not that I'm entirely desensitized, but my reaction is every single time they kill one of us, it's like we're that much more of a limited resource.
Mm-hmm.
We become rarer and rarer the more they kill us, and that means we become more and more valuable, and we become more and more worth protection.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Ironically, South Carolina is the only state that is prosecuting these cops. This is like second, third, fourth cop in South Carolina to be fired, arrested, and at least get into the judicial process where charges have been filed in the past year. So that blows my mind every time that it's freaking South Carolina. Because South Carolina is like a step up from Mississippi.
Right.
Completely red.
It's beautiful, though, to lighten it up. The state is fucking beautiful. Like, South Carolina is just amazing. Myrtle Beach and Hilton Head is beautiful. But yeah, fuck y'all. and your police systems and all your fucking bullshit. Fuck y'all for that. But the landscape is amazing. So kudos to you on that.
Balls to go there.
Yeah.
Speaking of racist, we have a reformed racist who went on a YouTube rant this week.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we
Bitch,
go.
let me tell you how much life I caught from this video. Play it.
What is it that keeps us stuck right there in that comfortable position of untruth? Well, I think part of it is fear. Another part of it is greed. Greed in that we don't want to lose dominance. We don't want to lose power. We don't want to lose privileges. We don't want to lose benefits that the system of white supremacy has created here in America for white people. We don't want to lose none of it. We're scared. We're scared of black retribution. We're scared of black vengeance. We're scared shitless, and we always have been. Since day one, we put our hands on black people. Grabbed and snatched them up, put them on a boat, and made them our own fucking personal slaves and assistants for no pay. We did all that. Goddamn right, we're scared. We're scared of losing what we got. We're scared of losing our positions. And we're scared of retribution. So we got a lot of fucking fear, man. Yeah, we do. You hear me, white brothers and sisters? A lot of fucking fear. We're scared.
And there it is.
I appreciate him because he basically summed up what I have thought for a long time. White supremacy is based on fear. Fear that black people will treat white people how white people have treated black people for over 400 years.
Right.
I appreciated the fuck out of that video for numerous reasons. Number one, the fact that he recorded that whole video with his eyes closed. I enjoyed it because, one, it was like he was in the spirit. Two, it just emphasized his obese nature because I'm sure he weighs over 300 pounds.
Oh my god.
But there were several moments where I was like, yes, because I mean the overarching theme that really caught me was that when is the last time you've heard a white person calling out white people in such an accusatory and aggressive way on their bullshit? I mean, at one point he says, in fear of like black vengeance and retribution, he says, who the fuck ever taught a black person black supremacy? The first thing black people learn is what's wrong with being a supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a little weird for me to hear him speak that way because just hearing the Southern accent, I immediately associated with racism. But when you really plug into what he's saying, to hear a white person call out the people of his own race in a way that is saying, y'all motherfuckers on some bullshit, and what you're doing is not ignorance, it is avoiding and ignoring the ignorance. That's what I was like, you know what? More people like this need to be present. Because there's only so many black people that can hop up on the Twitter timeline, on Facebook, on the news, on protests, saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G about racial segregation and racial problems and this, that, and the fourth. But for a white person to pop up and be like, y'all motherfuckers is wrong, that really caught my attention.
Yeah. And the fact that he's an old Southern good old boy, like that makes my heart glad. Like he's not some old city slicker fucking liberal from Brooklyn or some shit. You know, like he's this white guy from fucking I don't know, Jackson, Mississippi or some shit. You could
It's
hang niggas from the trees backyard. And he's like, hey, listen, white folks, this is wrong. We on some bullshit. We need to fix it. Like, that's what I love about it. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, what you think changed his mind? How does one go from being extreme racist to being all like, we're wrong, we got to fix it? Black people aren't the problem, we're the problem. Like, what was his turning point? You think he got some chocolate in him? Think he dipped his stick in some chocolate?
You know, some chocolate.
You got some mixed babies down there. Something happened.
Well,
He dipped that stick. He got a taste.
I would
Oh,
love
gosh.
to know what his catalyst for change was, but I guess that's part of. I always think that people can change and grow, and Angie tells me to shut up about this all the time. She calls me the white people whisperer because I believe that experience, and I believe that you can change and grow based on what you learn and having new experiences and being exposed to new information. So I don't know.
I think you can change and grow, but I think that something has to happen. Something major has to shake you and shock you in order for that change to happen. It just doesn't happen out of thin air. Shit. It takes time.
Right? I think
something had to happen.
I mean, I think it's definitely a mixture of the two, because who's to say that shootings like, Walter Scott and Trayvon Martin didn't trigger this man's change? Who's to say that the documentation of these trials and these incidents didn't trigger this man's change? I'm not of the mindset that people are entirely fixed to their mentality about race for an entire lifetime. I do believe people can change. This person especially gives me hope, the fact that he can turn a leaf and speak so aggressively about race ideas definitely, encourages me to continue on informing people in the way that we have. I mean, it's just a good sign, because of all the white people we ever expect to see, speak this way, we're picturing liberal, left-wing people who live in the North, not good old boy who probably used to own a Confederate flag, drives a pickup truck, living in, Jackson, Mississippi, as you said.
Confederate flag.
Right. Like, it's crazy to hear him speak that way, because when you hear that type of voice, you're expecting nigger this, nigger that, hang that motherfucker, not white people get your shit together.
So, what I will say is also my reaction to these kind of shootings and police brutality cases have changed. So I would say that even my reaction to race has changed, because the way I reacted to Sean Bell is not the way I reacted to Trayvon Martin. Definitely not the way I reacted to Michael Brown or Eric Garner or Walter Scott. So at some point it starts to click. Okay, maybe they didn't do anything wrong. Maybe this is a systematic problem that needs to be addressed in a different way. Have you guys seen any change in your reaction or what you believe to be true throughout the years?
My reaction has been the same. Since Trayvon Martin, I knew they didn't do anything. You couldn't tell me any different. Because even before then, when the stuff had been happening for years, decades, so my reaction has never changed at all, But I have become more vocal, of course, since Trayvon Martin, other than that. But my reaction has been the same. All it is every time now is like, here we go again. We got to do this again. We got to go through this again.
Yeah.
I would say my reaction has been the same. It's been the same ever since Trayvon, because what the white dominated media neglects to acknowledge is the fact that I've been black since before Trayvon Martin was shot.
Mm-hmm.
I know how black people act, and as much as they try and portray us as criminals and hooligans and this and that and always involved in shenanigans, black people just out here trying to live. And so when one of us gets shot, I automatically assume that motherfucker was just on the street trying to go to the store, trying to get home, on his way from work, ABCD, whatever the fuck. I don't assume that most niggas are criminals.
And see, I think, like with Sean Bell, I was like, oh, well, we don't know what happened in the car. With Trayvon Martin, it became, oh, well, yes, he may have had weed. Or yes, it was defending the allegations against him. By the time we got to Mike Brown, I was like, fuck what he did. It doesn't matter. You know, this whole, well, he had this bad reputation, it doesn't matter because even if he was the most criminal of criminals, he still deserved to live and go through due process.
How many white criminals have still lived and been apprehended without being killed?
Yeah.
And have done worse than what Trayvon may have done, or what Mike Brown may have done, or what Sean Bell may have done, or you know, whomever else. Like, how many white criminals still live and have done worse?
Mm-hmm. Well, on a lighter note, BuzzFeed gave us 39 sex tips that we wish we would have heard when we were younger.
BuzzFeed is amazing, man. I gotta step up my number game. Like, I gotta start writing some number shit so I can get on BuzzFeed's payroll. This shit is amazing, man.
So what was your favorite tip, Ange?
Hold on, come back to me. Come back to me, because I need to go back. Gotta go back to my notes. Gotta look at it. Hold on, come back to me.
Everyone pull out their notes. I need to know your favorite tips now. We're starting with you, AJ, because you're the first person on my...
Here it is. I'm sorry. Here it is. It was something to the effect of maybe you're having sex with the wrong sex. For some reason, that resonated with my spirit. And I was like, damn, you know what?
I actually thought
it would have made a difference to, 20-year-old Ange. Like, maybe the problem isn't sex. Maybe you're just fucking the wrong people. Maybe that's it. Like, maybe that is the problem.
That one is for Kia. That one is for Kia.
And that reminds me of a conversation we had one time when I was like, well, have you ever, like, there was this guy at Mars Brown, and I was just like, is this all?
Well, it wasn't Morris Brown, but it was another school in Atlanta, and I was just like I just remember thinking, like, this shit isn't fun. Like, this isn't what my homegirls talk about. Like, I'm just trying to get through it. Like, it was all bad. So when I read that on the BuzzFeed list, like, maybe you just aren't having sex with the right sex, I was like, yes, BuzzFeed writer, you are on it. You know exactly what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, AJ, what was your tip that stuck out for you?
I think it was probably like 2 or 3 of them, kind of. The first one is definitely slow down. Okay? I don't know about you ladies, but us dudes, the gays, the bottoms, like, slow the hell down. Okay? Take it easy on us. Can't just slam it on in. Okay?
Child, we'll get to that in a second because
that goes to the letter right there, okay?
Well, I'm not gay, but what I will say is heterosexual
questionable.
heterosexual men slim it all in on a regular. Like, that's normal.
And it's also a problem. For me, the number one sex tip, because a lot of them seem very obvious. Number 4, baby oil does not belong near your genitals. Hit my spirit like a wrecking ball. No shit, Miley Cyrus. Because the number of times I've been engaged with people and they want to pull out something equivalent to some baby oil as lube, I'm like, sir, do you know how many things they make to replicate this same slick feeling that is not Johnson & Johnson's? Get that shit away from my sphincter.
Now, let me go on the record and say that baby oil ain't never done me wrong. So,
Girl.
I'm sorry. That's my truth. I have to live my truth.
Girl.
No.
Maybe it works for y'all. But for us, hell no.
Because what I'm not about to have is fucking, the Black Forest growing out of my nether regions because some top that lives in Park Slope, Brooklyn wants to use goddamn baby oil as lube because he's lazy and doesn't want to go buy the proper materials. No, I'm not. No, I won't. No, I shan't.
That's number 1. Number 2, baby oil is just messy as hell, okay?
Messy? Do you know how much my sheets cost? I'm not mussing these bitches up for some baby oil residue all over my shit. Have you lost your mind?
Let's go on record in saying that baby oil also causes condoms to break easily. So if you are using condoms, you should not use an oil-based lube. You should use a water-based lube, which would be the KY jelly.
Actually, you can speak for heterosexual people. If I'm going to suggest or recommend any lube for the gay members of society, use a silicone-based lube, preferably wet platinum, because that shit, A, does not dry up, B...
Hold on, don't stop, Dio. Wait a minute, Dio. You educated us. You gotta come back.
I'm sorry. AJ just pulled out a bottle of the shit I was talking about.
Wait.
Wet platinum.
Hold on.
AJ.
Wait, hold on. Say something, AJ, so we can see it.
Oh, he mentioned wet platinum. I'm holding up wet.
Oh.
There we go.
Wet platinum and wet in general is a silicone-based lube. It's not like oil that's gonna stain your shit. It's not like water that requires constant movements to not dry out. It stays wet, hence the name. If you're going to engage in that type of fucking, wet platinum is for your life.
I have a question for AJ. Like, how do you just have that on standby?
I mean, he had that.
We have recommendations coming up. That's why, okay?
Are we in your bedroom? Like,
Listen.
Hey.
No, I'm not in my bedroom.
So it's just chilling on the night, just chilling on a little kitchen counter or some shit.
Listen, ma'am.
Right here, let's just continue.
There are 2 things.
What was your tip? What was your favorite tip?
Go ahead, girl.
It's okay to be into weird and kinky shit.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm about the creep life, so you gotta go outside the norm of regular, boinky boinky boinky,
Yeah.
Speaking of weird shit, I just realized recently how much of a voyeur I am.
What?
Because there are times when I can watch porn just to watch it. Just to see 2 bodies engaged in that type of activity, and maybe it's because I'm a dancer, I just like seeing bodies move, but like just to see bodies move that way, not even to excite myself, I'm like, yes, this is entertaining.
But you know what? I feel the same way because for me, like I'm naturally like silly and kind of goofy, and so when I watch porns, it's always like, why is he saying that to her? like, oh my God, do you hear her? Do you hear her? Do you hear her? Oh my God, like it's always, it's almost always like comedy to me. So I'm like, what is?
It's so true because I mean, I almost exclusively watch gay porn, but there are still times when I watch it and I'm like, and I think, I mean, I attribute it to the fact that I'm involved in the arts and I'm always watching things critically, but I'll be watching, I'm like, I can tell by the noises you're making, that shit don't make nasty. Why are you yelling like that?
Yeah, like, you do not feel any of that. So why are you making all of that noise?
That was my favorite tip, where it said basically what you see on television isn't real, like porn isn't real. And someone tweeted a couple of weeks ago that porn is basically like wrestling, and it's not real. It is some orchestrated event that they put on film. And I was like, all these poor people who are trying to live up to these porn expectations, and they don't know that it's fake like wrestling.
And the worst part about porn, for me at least, is it makes men think that they last anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes long worth of fucking without coming. Meanwhile, them motherfuckers on the video you watching done came 4 or 5 times in the process, and they just cut that bullshit out. Real fucking lasts for about a maximum of 18 minutes, because what you not gonna do is plow into my skinny black ass for more than 22 minutes before I kick you out of my black ass apartment.
Gio, you also turn down anything over 6 inches.
That's a lie. 7.5 is the number.
I'm on Twitter and I'm like 8, 9, 10, yes. And Gio is like.
Let me explain something to you, because I'm glad you brought this up so I can finally set the record straight. Anything over 7.5, 8, if I'm feeling generous, is bullshit. Why? Because I only weigh 135 pounds. What you're not about to do is destroy my physiology with your bullshit. If I wanted a fucking apparatus the size of a fucking entertainment center shoved up my sphincter, then fine, I would do that on my own. But you, sir, with your goddamn civilization-sized penis, you can find another bitch to do that with, because I'm not going to have colon problems for the rest of my life to fuck with you.
I give up. Okay. I give up. I give up. I give up.
Al said, to combat the comedy factor in porn, you got to kill the sound. Play some music you like instead. That's good advice.
That is.
With the whole porn thing, it's you got to watch the live shit, man. You know, get down.
Wait.
Here we go.
Wait. You said live, okay? Wait.
Yeah.
Live. Where are you going to watch live porn? I need a link, something. You need to message me something.
We got our eye on you, Nicole. What you talking about now? Hold on.
I mean, you can go to places and watch. You know, they have places.
What are these places? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, you know, you got trapeze. That's one you can go and watch.
Wait, what?
Trapeze.
Here, you can go to Trapeze in Atlanta and see what's happening with what's happening. But that's all I hear because I read a lot, so I know.
Where is that at?
Well,
What do you read?
if you follow me on Twitter, you know that is one of my goals to like write an academic paper on porn and Black women's perception in porn movies. So I just don't have it in me to watch that much porn in my life right now.
Why don't you find some porn stars and go interview them and stuff?
I have to
There's
do
plenty in
And
Atlanta.
make sure I'm there when you're doing it.
But you know what?
There's plenty in Atlanta.
You
I
know
mean,
what? So I actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually did try to find some Detroit porn artists, porn stars, because I did want to talk about sort of the psychology behind it, and that was it. That was all I wanted to discuss. The business aspect. Yeah, you know.
I hate you.
So, since we're already here, we might as well just keep going, right?
Hey.
What is fleeting and why do you do it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, AJ.
Fleeting.
Let me look that
It's
up.
when you get a little bottle of enema from Walgreens, CVS, Publix, wherever, you know. Or, you know, you may have seen some women who have these little bags hanging up in the shower. It's basically when you're trying to clean yourself out. And for the gays, since it is a gay show, for the gays, you have to do it like, you know, recommended 3 hours before, you know, you're about to do something, do a little something, to clean yourself out so you won't do any, you know, painting. If you don't know what painting is, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Look
So
it up.
basically-
Google.
So basically, you're getting all the shit out of you so shit won't get on your sheets?
That's it. Or his dick, okay? Don't get me wrong. Some people don't mind it. Some people don't mind it. I mind
Hold
it.
on. I'm sorry. Where are you located that tops don't mind shit on their dick? Because I need to never go there.
Listen, okay? I don't know where they are. I've seen it on my timeline. Some of them don't mind it.
Okay,
It's
so I
timeline
have,
of what?
I have a lot of questions now. Like, this just opened my... Like,
You know what? I hope your audio fucks up because the lie you just told is some bullshit. As a bottom, you
Follow the
should
people
feel
that I follow on Twitter, okay? Especially in Black Twitter. There are some who don't mind it.
as
I
a
don't know
bottom,
why they don't mind it, but they don't mind it.
you should feel spiritually shamed if any part of your waste material ends up anywhere during sexual intercourse.
I'm with you on that. No, because especially I don't care where we are, you're not gonna get it on my sheet. We're not gonna get it on your sheet. We're not gonna get it in the back of your car. We're not gonna get it in the park. We're not gonna get it anywhere. That is never happening.
Okay, so here's my question. So, God, I hate these questions. But so you flee every time you anticipate having sex?
I was prepared for this question, and I'm going to answer.
Okay.
Black Twitter gays would have you believe that fleeting is a mandatory every single time. I will say this. The good thing about gay sex is that because of the preparation that it takes, it requires some form of planning. There's not really such thing as random gay sex. But I will tell you that fleeting is not a mandatory thing. if you are very in tune with your digestive system and you know how long it takes for shit to get into that part of your body for it to become a problem, you don't necessarily have to flee. Just as long as shit is clear when stuff starts happening, then you're fine. But if what you're doing is like you just met so-and-so 20 minutes ago on fucking Grindr or Jacked and you trying to get shit in a half an hour, fleeting is either just a safe bet all around because stuff's going to be clean either way, or it's your backup plan because you're trying to get fucked in 25 minutes and you don't have time to just wait for things to clear out naturally.
But you see, you know what? That's the insurance. That oh, shit. So the got me, I'm getting all my words mixed up. But that's the interesting part because I think the perception is gay guys, they just have sex whenever. Like it doesn't matter if you prepared or not. Like we having sex in the bathroom, we having sex, you know, in the back room, we having sex in your mama's house, we having sex wherever. So I'm glad you brought that part up.
Well,
I see you.
Even if we're having sex wherever, we know we're going to be having sex. So we will make sure that we are clean, okay, in the appropriate amount of time, okay. There are a lot of gays who probably eat properly. They don't eat a lot of bullshit, pun intended. You know. There are gays who eat a lot of bullshit, but they try within 20 to 25 minutes, I don't know why, to clear themselves out. But what they don't realize that even when they do that and then they try to have sex right after, there's still a bunch of residue that's left in there. There's still a bunch of the enema, water, whatever you're cleaning yourself out with, that's still left in there. So when he's pumping you, okay, that stuff is going to come out. Shit, water, whatever it is, it's going to come out.
So this is good advice for heterosexuals who also engage in anal sex, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Especially women, because whenever I picture heterosexual women engaging in anal sex, I just immediately imagine mess, because you're just not, that's not your main orifice of sexual encounter. So you're not aware of how it functions, you're not aware of how clean it is. You just feel like, oh, I don't have to go to the bathroom, there's nothing there. You're wrong, there's shit in the chamber, and it's there, and it's ready to embarrass you.
There you go. There you go.
This, when it does happen, when the donkey ends up on the sheets, what is the reaction? Is it the reaction of like a queef when the vagina poops? Or is it more extreme than that? Like, what is the reaction?
It depends on who you're with.
It depends on who you're with. Like Dio said, it depends on who you're with. Because I have said, like I said, some guys don't mind it. I don't know why they don't mind it. It's beyond me. That shit is nasty as hell. Don't mind it. There are others, including myself, and I am about them, okay? Including myself. Hell no. Hell no.
Okay. Next question up. I lost my question, y'all. Do you have to buy a new strap-on every time you get a new... Oh, wait. Sorry. Hold on. Jason responded to my question. He said, someone's got to die if that happens.
If what happened? Oh, if the sheet.
He gets on the sheets, someone
Yes,
die.
they have to die. They have to pay first, but then they die.
They have to pay for the thread count sheets, the Egyptian thread count sheets. Okay, next question. Do you have to get a new strap on with every new partner you get for lesbians?
Not necessarily. If you want to, you can.
Yeah,
But not there are a lot of ways to clean your instrument, toy, whatever you want to call it. Clean the shit.
How exactly is AJ answering this question?
listen, we don't ask questions. We just go with it, and we just let it go.
I didn't know that was a rule.
We're not putting anybody on the spot. Nothing. We just going with it.
I thought we were just giving opinions.
He wants to use a strap-on in his bedroom. That is his business. They're not Republicans. And
I just know how to clean my stuff.
Okay. And ain't nothing wrong with that, AJ. Nothing wrong with that.
If I feel like buying a new one, I will buy a new one. Other than
No,
that.
because I'm not judging you for having toys. Toys is one thing, but the question featured the word strap-on, and I just don't see how that's relevant if the people you are fucking are already equipped with merchandise that replicate the strap-on.
But how do we know that?
But I'm speaking, even I know my whomever partner will be or is has the equipment that I need. But I'm saying that even those who has a partner that doesn't have the equipment biologically and need the equipment, I don't know what's the better word for it, but they have to pay for it, they can clean it. I'm just saying, clean it. Mm-hmm. Even if you have the toys or the props or whatever solo, what do? You clean it. You're not going to just use it and then sit it there and then use it again later. You clean it.
Exactly. You clean it, or use a condom. I mean, like, I know it sounds weird because we're kind of socialized to think like condoms prevent. My words are all messed up, y'all. But we're socialized to believe that condoms prevent pregnancy, but they also prevent STDs. So wrap that thing up, clean it off. Don't just pull it out and throw it in a drawer somewhere. You got to clean it off and be responsible.
So how do you clean it? Do you soak it in Clorox? Because Clorox kills everything, and I don't care what Clorox tweeted the other day, black people are still going to use Clorox. So they have...
You might get antibacterial or something like that.
Right. They have cleaners for it. You can use an antibacterial mixture to clean it off, but, do be responsible. Don't just...
Let me explain something to you. Let me be the first one to explain something to you. If tomorrow I wake up and the God that I serve sees fit to change me into a lesbian woman, what I will never be doing is entertaining the idea of putting a condom on a man-made, manufactured penis that is known by the name of a dildo.
I see your point. I do see your point. Believe me, I see your point. But if you are engaging in sexual acts with different people, like, please do put a condom on that thing. Yeah. And clean it off when you finish. Like, that's all I'm saying. That's just Auntie Angie speaking.
I did not know that lesbians were out here being so raggedy. Oh my goodness.
Yes, very, very raggedy. There are some that are very raggedy, and I'm not.
What you will not do is speak against safe sex on the Real Drunk, because we are advocates of safe sex.
Because the reality
I have a question about inanimate objects.
Okay.
why do lesbians suck on
That's a
strap-on?
great way to put it, Kia.
Okay. So first, I think it's really important that we not group everybody in the same. We not group everybody the same way. But second, I think that it is sort of like a mind fuck. Like it's sort of, I mean, it's fun and kind of, it could, I guess it could be kind of like.
I mean, I'm not a lesbian, obviously, but I can answer sort of. The question is, why do lesbians suck on strap-ons or dildos? It's just for the fact, the simple fact of having something in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean that, and I mean, is there sort of a power element to it? Maybe.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Maybe.
I mean, because I'm personally, and let the Cabernet Sauvignon speak for me, I am one of those people who legitimately enjoys giving oral sex for numerous reasons. But
Oh, really?
yes,
Don't judge him.
it's something about, I enjoy being able to give people pleasure. It makes me feel good. It bolsters my confidence about the entire act in general. But so I can only imagine that the same thing happens in a lesbian encounter, whether there's a strap-on involved or not. The fact that you can give somebody pleasure, or the image of pleasure, it is what it is.
I have nothing for
Oh,
that.
you've been very quiet. You want to jump in this conversation?
Yes, Nicole, what do you have to say?
Actually, I had a thought, and then y'all all jumped in. I forgot my thought.
You just got to jump in, darling. Even when you have a thought, just jump in. I mean,
Are you playing double dutch?
no, just jump in. I'm just saying.
Kiki Palmer, that thing.
Not sure what's happening right now, but I'm just trying to tweet and keep up with everything.
Okay. All right. Does the black LGBT experience differ from the white LGBT experience? If so, why? How and why?
I'm going to say I really don't have much of an answer. I've only been out for like almost 5 years, so I really haven't really been in the whole LGBT experience. I've only been to Pride maybe 1 or 2 times. All I know is that, black gays do have it worse than the white gays. I mean,
Well, I differ entirely from AJ. I have an answer for your ass in general, yes. Yes, it differs. And that is because, primarily, the voice that you hear speaking for the LGBT community is one of a white male. The white male voice has dominated the LGBT experience in general. What the differences are in the experience are numerous and far too varied to go into listing, but yes, they differ. I mean, just even from the, relationship aspect, I see far more white guys dating other white men than I do black guys dating anybody. And that is because people of color in the LGBT community, as far as gay men are concerned, are seen as flings and sexual experiments, whereas white men are seen as suitable partners for long-term relationships. And on that note, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Wait, what?
You can't hold it. I'm sitting here holding it myself, and you can't hold it. Are you serious? Serious. I'm holding it myself. Okay.
No, I did that last week when I just disappeared. And I was like, I'll be right back, y'all. I had to go pee. So.
I gotta learn how to hold it. Learn how to hold it.
Anyone else want to speak on the black versus white LGBT experience?
Talk, Angie. Come on.
I think there's a difference. Or what was the question again, Kia?
Is there a difference, and what is it and why? Something like that. Shit, I can't
I think it's kind of like the having a mental illness in the black community. It's just so you're not seen as, what's the word I'm looking for? Like if you're a black man in the black community, and if you're gay, you're not seen as being masculine or a strong black male. Whereas in the white community, it's like it's okay. You can be gay, you can still be masculine, you can still be this and that, and it's okay. But in the black community, it's just so, I don't want to say taboo, but just
That's the word.
taboo.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah. So anything like mental illness or being gay in the black community is just so, it's just difficult for to be accepted or to be okay with it, or it's always a battle and a fight, and for what?
Yeah.
Do you think that's getting better? As honestly, I don't know any other way to put this, but honestly, as being gay becomes more acceptable, do you think it's becoming less taboo in the black community?
I don't know. I find that people often expect you to choose one or the other. So you're either black or you're LGBT, and not necessarily the same at the same time.
So the intersectionality isn't there?
I couldn't hear you.
The intersectionality of...
No, it's not there because people expect you to either be one or the other, not both at the same time. And I don't know that. I don't know that that's even necessary or helpful.
It's not even just people. It's just black people expect you to be one or the other. But they expect you to be black and not gay. They don't want the gay. They don't want you to include that. They don't want you to bring that. They don't even want you to bring that up. Right.
Because it always comes down to choice, right? So if something bad happens to you and you're gay, it's like you're choosing to be gay, and so whatever bad thing that happened to you, you deserve because you've made that choice. And I don't.
According to Pat Robinson, 9/11 happened because of you gays.
Yeah.
So,
because because gays, we have, there's so much power, like, gays can cause the towers to fall, but not be able to marry,
So tell me
their life.
Tell me this. Help me understand. Let's say being gay is a sin. How is that the sin that causes the towers to fall and these 3,000 people to die, but slavery is not anywhere in that sin? Killing and raping and all of these grand things that America has done since its founding has...
that's part of the bullshit, right? Because let's say that homosexuality is a sin. Let's just say that it is a sin, right? I'm not saying that I agree with it, but let's just say that it is. Homosexuality is a sin. So is adultery. So is, coveting, jealousy. So is a whole bunch of other things. But those sins don't stop you from leading your local church. They don't stop you from, you know, undue struggles as you run for public office, but homosexuality does. So let's talk about how uneven the sins are. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of the bullshit. Like, okay, if homosexuality is a sin, so is the deacon who's banging everybody except his wife, right? But the deacon is still allowed to lead prayer, and he's still allowed to give the sermon in, you know, at Sunday service, but not Twan, the gay guy who's in love with his partner of 20 years. Like, that's...
Well, we will let Twan lead the church choir. And he can plan the church fashion show for Easter.
Right.
We do it better.
Speaking of Twan, like, what is, because the black church is actually really vocal about being anti-gay. Relationship with the black church or with God as a whole?
Key, you're going to have to repeat that because the devil was busy and we couldn't hear that. So,
the devil don't want us to progress. The liberal agenda is being blocked by the devil. Okay, so how did the black church specifically, I mean the church in general, has the reputation of being very anti-homosexual. How does that affect your relationship with the church and with God even further than the church? Because I believe your relationship with the church can be different from your relationship with God.
It does not affect my relationship with God. It just affects my relationship with the church. Okay? And it's not just the whole gay thing. It's the whole lot. It's the whole big thing. If you would have had me on last week, I could have explained it, but we're not going to go there. But my relationship with God is what it is. It's strong and it's still the same. The problem is the church and the people who lead the church and the people who are in the church. That's my problem. The people in it. That's it.
Should I? Who's
go ahead, Dio.
I mean, I've never identified as Christian, so I'm coming from a different place here. I'm personally an initiated member of the Afro-diasporic religion of Santeria. And as far as my relationship with the church, it is one of caution, but it is also one of hope. Because while I do see people constantly attacking gay members of society and criticizing what they choose to do with their life, I also see people like our good friend, Miss Whitney Bond, who is a dedicated advocate for LGBT people, LGBT rights, everything like that. So as far as the black church and the church, Christian church is related in general, I am hopeful because what I am seeing is progress as far as other people are concerned. I mean, as far as my own personal relationship with God, the religion that I subscribe to and believe in and actively practice makes no discriminations against gays. In fact, we are the majority in the religion. There's more gay men and gay women practicing this religion than there are straight people. And I mean, I would also say, you know, if you're a gay person who is, or even any member of the LGBT community who is subscribing to Christian doctrine and that faith, just be very cautious and careful, because what I see a lot happening is self-denial and self-hatred. And to me, those two things are the biggest sin.
And you know what comes to mind, and you guys remind me in case I forget, because we got a lot of tweets coming in that I want to read. But what comes to mind is Delivered, which became a social media joke. But Andre Caldwell, who that was his whole thing. It was self-denial. It was self-rejection. It's feeling like you have to become something in order to be accepted by the God who created and loved you. And I don't even know if he's doing this for the God who created and loved him or for the church that he wants to be socially accepted into.
Right. And I mean, for me, it's really, if you look at it like this, you look at all religions across the board. Obviously, they have their differences. Obviously, they have their similarities. But what is the one thing that they hold true? It is that the God and or gods they serve are infallible, meaning anything they create or do is without mistake. To me, to question your identity and to question the self of sense that you have and you as a person is to directly offend the divinity that you serve.
Ooh, wait, time out. Rewind. Repeat that for the cheap seats.
To question the self that you have, to question the identity that you have, is to directly offend the divinity that you serve. You cannot in one breath say that the God and or gods that I serve are without mistake, are without fault, but then at the same time say, me, who they created, is a mistake. I personally feel like the number one blessing people disregard is your sense of self.
Ooh.
The number one blessing you have is your own self, your own identity. You as a person are created and exist. How dare you speak back to the divinity that you serve and say, who you created me to be is wrong, and I am going to fight you until the very end and correct that mistake.
Right.
Meanwhile, you say in the same exact breath, he, O God, I serve, the Almighty, the Most High, is without fault. So you must be serving a different God than who you are praying to.
Angie, did you tweet that?
Listen, I tried to tweet it, but I couldn't even. Like, I definitely had the phone up, and I was trying to tweet what he was saying, but it hit me right here. Like that.
Dio, say the beginning part, that first phrase one more time so Angie can get it and tweet it, because that's good stuff. That's what.
Yeah.
I believe what I said was to reject and or disregard the sense of self and the self-identity that you have is to directly offend the God and or divinity that you serve.
That's it. That'll preach. All right, social media. Jason said, well, one thing you have to consider is that the LGBT activist movement isn't opening to black folks. So, and you hear a lot of those same complaints about the feminist movement, how they don't consider black females' needs in the mainstream movement. Let's see. Garden Owl tweeted out and retweeted some great lesbian, great information about lesbians using condoms on sex toys from the CDC. So you can check that out on our Twitter timeline at Real Drunk Show. At Real Drunk Show. Jason also said it's hard to even deal with issues of sexuality when it's hard just being a black person in America. And that goes back to when we were talking about Walter Scott and just trying to survive on the street. You're just trying to drive down the street. You can't even deal with the fact that you're black and gay.
Right. And you know what? Oh, go ahead, Kim.
Oh, last thing. Jason also said that he dealt with the whole sexuality and church issue by finding a gay-affirming church where I also get fed spiritually. And that is Impact Church in Atlanta.
I think that's the church that one of our mutual friends, Alicia, I think that's her church.
Yeah.
Impact, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's in East Point.
Yeah. So that's good. And I think, for me, like, it's so weird because one of the first things that I ever remember wanting to be was a minister. Like, I wanted to be a pastor. And I grew up in a CME church, and we got a female pastor, Reverend Teresa Bradfield Parker. She came to our church. I think I was about, I had to be maybe about 9 or 10 when she came. And just her whole spirit, like, I was just like, man, like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to make people feel better. I want to teach. I want to, like, help people be the best that they can be, right? And this is me, like, this is like 10, 11-year-old Ange, right? And as I grow up, I'm like, well, maybe not, because I don't think God is really fucking with me like that. Like, I don't know if maybe I need to be hearing something else. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's largely due to some of the messaging that we hear in church, or the black church, to be more specific. And I know people have a problem with just identifying the black church and blah, blah, blah. I don't really care about that. I don't care. Because there are people, the guy who directs the choir, the guy who's in the usher board, who's been with his, partner for 25 years, is like being subtweeted during church service and saying that he's not worthy because his love happens to be of the same sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, I don't know. I think I felt kind of bitter growing up, and so I kind of had this weird relationship with God, thinking that the attitudes of the church were indicative of the attitudes of God, right? And that's not necessarily the case. And so you have to etch out, your relationship with God is totally different from the relationship that people have with you, people on earth have with you. And so if you find value in God, if you find comfort, if you find peace in praying to a God, like, that has nothing to do with everybody else. That's all between you and your creator, whatever you call him, her, it doesn't matter. And so I think that's part of this kind of murky religion and sexuality and all of this kind of stuff going on.
I agree. I mean, the moment that you are able to discern that what people say in church and or religious functions is not exclusively the word of God, is the moment that you allow yourself to say, I can choose what I want to believe. I can craft my own relationship with God, and it doesn't have to be based on the rules and regulations that the people around me say have to be there. Because the people around you, what you're not realizing, they still working with goddamn damn selves.
Right. Yeah.
You can be a goddamn reverend, deacon, pastor for however many years. Until you die and speak to the God you serve directly, you guessing just as much as I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that goes back to what you said, like denying your true self is also at the same time denying your creator. Like I created you the way that I wanted you to be. And you are trying to deny that and change it and lie about it. Like that is denying me,
Right.
your God. So that's definitely it. AJ, did you have something to say?
At first, I was thinking that, hey, if you feel like you want to choose to not engage in the gay lifestyle, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why they call it lifestyle. Maybe I guess for some people it is a choice. I don't know. But when you bring religion into it, then that's kind of where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. Because you can't say God didn't make you this way. You can't say that God forbids anybody to be this way. To say that, God, I mean, people say that God does not make mistakes. Well, I know, for me, I know I don't like the vajayjay. I can't help that. I can't help that. I never have. It wasn't a choice for me. I would not choose a lifestyle where, you know, the church is going to hate me. Everybody in the church is the pastor is going to preach against who I am. You know, I wouldn't choose that. I would not choose that. That's not. If I did have a choice, I would choose the life where I am accepted. You
And
know.
you know what? That's a good point about this idea of like choice, right? Of like you being able to choose your sexuality. So let's open it up. Dio, what do you think? Are people able to choose sexuality? So I'm going to be straight, I'm going to be gay, I'm going to be bi, or I'm going to be